Happy Hump Day and happy Thanksgiving Eve to all who celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm sure many of you are already cleaning the house, getting guest rooms ready, prepping the kitchen, pulling out decorations, and getting ready for a fun week or possibly traveling. So while you get ready for your holiday, let's catch up on some fun Sussex news, a little bit of drama, and all of that in between. And for 30% of my viewers, it's just a regular week, so let's get into it. First, the Duchess of Sussex returns to Justice for Girls, the organization created to advocate for teenage girls' health and well being who live in poverty, as well as work to provide access to equality, freedom from violence, and freedom from colonialism. The nonprofit shared the news of the appearance, and we're going to get into the deets. Meghan wasn't the only one making big moves. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, was also in Canada with his wife, along with the senior members from the Invictus Foundation, planning the 2025 Invictus Games. We've already talked about his attendance at the Vancouver Canucks game, and I'll definitely be in attendance at the Invictus Games. I'm already shopping for coats, and I can't wait to see what they cook up. In the meantime, we've gotten a few early details, so we're getting into that. Next, yesterday, the members of my channel and I talked about the William and Kate separation rumors, and one of the articles was written by Kristen Burt, an article I heavily criticized. Well, a broken clock is right twice a day because she published another article yesterday, all but gloating at the fact that Harry and Meghan's current team and PR strategy are too advanced for the British tabloids to keep up with. She nailed it, and we're going to take a look at that. Lastly, many of you have already viewed my video recap of The Crown Season 6 Part 1. I was less than enthusiastic about everything except the actors who did do a fine job. However, you know a show is bad when Forbes actually weighs in. We're going to talk about all that and more, so stay tuned. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, returned to Justice for Girls in Vancouver to hear the personal struggles for justice from teens. This isn't the first visit that Meghan has had to Justice for Girls, and it's great that wherever she is, she finds charities and organizations to partner up with. So we're going to get the deets from People Magazine. Y'all know they're on my shit list right now, but we're going to go ahead and get the story, and then we can go back to being mad at them when we're done. Petty. Let's get into it. Meghan Markle returns to Justice for Girls in Vancouver to hear personal struggles for justice from teens. The Duchess of Sussex visited the Canadian nonprofit for the first time in 2020, and this article was written by Sharna Flam. Before we proceed, I just want to say Meghan has given us amazing bun moment after bun moment. And then here recently she said, oh, I'm also going to give you luscious locks, and you're going to get into the versatility. And yes, ma'am, we absolutely are. Meghan Markle returned to Justice for Girls, a Canadian nonprofit organization that aims to help teenage girls living in poverty. The Duchess of Sussex visited the charity organization's Vancouver office on Tuesday. Meghan, who visited the same office in 2020, joined Jessica Lake and Lori Thompson from the Lake Family's All One Fund and a group of women for a discussion regarding the nonprofit's work. Justice for Girls was created to advocate for teenage girls' health and well-being who live in poverty, as well as work to provide access to equality, freedom from violence, and colonialism, per the organization's official website. The nonprofit shared the news of Meghan's appearance in an Instagram post, highlighting key moments from her visit. Quote, a feminist advocate from a young age herself, the Duchess was keen to chat with two of our teen interns to discuss their personal struggles for justice, the organization's caption read. Her genuine and understanding approach left the girls feeling heard, supported, and inspired. Justice for Girls also shared how the participants of Meghan's visit participated in conversations about the organization's decades of work advocating for girls' access to education, freedom from violence, Indigenous rights, and environmental justice, and focused on the importance of girls and young women's leadership. The organization, which was founded 24 years ago, has also created public education workshops, advocacy clinics, and other local outreach initiatives in an effort to end violence, poverty, and racism among young women. The nonprofit also focuses its efforts on criminal justice monitoring, advocacy, and outreach for girls, education, and promoting girls' human rights. During the Duchess of Sussex's visit in 2020, the group gifted her with a gold and diamond whale tail pendant that had been donated by local jeweler Holly Bartlett, a member of the Hazla tribe. Quote, "We all felt at ease, and I think that was a testament to the Duchess," Justice for Girls co-director Zoe Craig Sparrow told People after Meghan's first visit. She said it was important for her to get to know the local context around the issues in the communities. Justice for Girls co-founder Annabelle Webb shared the organization's intent, adding, "When we set up the organization, we made sure that it was with young women themselves who were saying, these are the things that we need support on, and these are the things that are keeping us down and have pushed us onto the streets or into prisons or into increasing conditions of poverty and violence." Meghan and Prince Harry also attended a hockey game between the Vancouver Canucks and the San Jose Sharks on Monday. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are in Canada ahead of the next Invictus Games, which will be held in Vancouver and Whistler in 2025. Harry, a former captain in the British Army, founded the International Adaptive Sports Tournament for wounded, injured, and sick service personnel and veterans in 2014. In addition to the Instagram post, Justice for Girls made the announcement on X as well in a series of tweets. The thread reads, "Justice for Girls was delighted to have a return visit from Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Joined by Jessica Lake and Lori Thompson from the Lake family's All One Fund, we had an engaging and heartfelt conversation about justice and equality for girls in Canada and around the world. Together with our team interns, staff, directors, and board members, we talked about Justice for Girls' decades of work advocating for girls' access to education, freedom from violence, Indigenous rights, and environmental justice. A highlight of our conversation was the focus on girls and young women's leadership. A feminist advocate from a young age herself, the Duchess was keen to chat with two of our teen interns to discuss their personal struggles for justice. Her genuine and understanding approach left the girls feeling heard, supported, and inspired." People magazine, y'all need to fire your writers because they just took this entire thread and made it an article. But anyway, it's great to see Justice for Girls getting the recognition they deserve. And thank you so much, Meghan, for always making sure you operate from not only a heart-centered place, but a progressive place. It's great that everywhere you go, people are getting help, people are being seen, and people are feeling heard. Amazing. A true queen. And of course, you know how we do things here. If we're going to talk about it on the channel, we're going to leave them a little something to let them know we were here. The Justice for Girls Outreach Society donation page reads, "Justice for Girls is a nonprofit organization that promotes freedom from violence, social justice, and equality for teenage girls who live in poverty. The organization was formed in 1999 in response to local, national, and international cries for girls-only programs and services that acknowledge and address the specific needs and vulnerabilities of girls, particularly in relation to homelessness, poverty, and violence. We locate our work within the overall project of women's equality. We believe it is necessary to eliminate violence and poverty in young women's lives in order to bring about equality. Recognizing and addressing the intersecting, interlocking forms of oppression that young women face is fundamental to our work toward ending violence against girls and young women." So we're going to go ahead and make a donation. I'm going to fill all this out off camera, so I'll be right back. Just a reminder, I linked the donation page and the website in the description box below in the sources section. The holidays are quickly approaching, so if you are interested in making a donation, especially if you have year-end goals for donating, feel free to check out Justice for Girls. And of course, Meghan was in Canada with her husband, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, who visited Whistler ahead of the 2025 Invictus Games. With just a little more than a year to go until Whistler and Vancouver host the 2025 Invictus Games, Whistler played host to the game's royal founder this week. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, and founder and patron of the Invictus Games Foundation, was in town as part of a delegation of senior representatives from the foundation. Quote, "The delegation is visiting venues, reviewing operational plans, and focusing on delivering the first ever winter adaptive sports program at the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025, read a release. As part of the preparations for the Games, every Invictus has a chance to host members of the Invictus Games Foundation to walk through plans and experience of the competitors and the friends and family. The delegation also spent time in Vancouver, where it visited the Vancouver Convention Center, the Hillcrest Center, and Rogers Arena, where Prince Harry dropped the ceremonial puck at the Vancouver Canucks game on November 21st. Rogers Arena will serve as the host venue for the celebration ceremony to conclude the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025. Quote, with the introduction of the first ever winter sports program at the Invictus Games, the team also visited key venues in Whistler, including the Whistler Sliding Center, Whistler Blackcomb, and Whistler Olympic Park, the release said. The Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025 will take place February 8th through the 16th of 2025 and will see up to 550 wounded, injured, and sick service personnel and veterans from up to 25 nations travel to British Columbia to compete in both winter and indoor adaptive sporting events. The 2025 Vancouver Games will be the first time the competition has incorporated winter sports. Quote, the Duke and Duchess, they are so hands-on and really want to be a major part of the games, especially the planning, Invictus Games board member and Squamish Nation Council Wilson Williams told Global News. Williams shared a box with the couple for Monday night's Canucks tilt with the San Jose Sharks and said the pair really loved the vibe. But he said the appearance's real value was in helping build momentum for the games as the clock nears the one-year countdown. Quote, you can feel the energy building and the momentum, he said. The community and broader community of Canada is going to really get on board now, especially with them visiting, but being right on live television and really promoting the games and having Harry drop the puck as well. The appearance appears to have already paid dividends, according to Invictus Games CEO Dominic Reed, who is also in Vancouver for the preparatory visit. Quote, just since last night, since the Canucks game, 98 people have registered for the volunteer program, he said. Ooh, I'll be meeting y'all because I am going to volunteer at the Vancouver Games. The delegation is checking on the progress at venues and working on development, Reed said, with particular attention to the Vancouver Convention Center and the sites in Whistler. The mountain community, former host to the 2010 Olympic Winter Games, will be critical to the event's integration of winter sports. Quote, we've got, for example, the new nation Nigeria coming to do winter sports, Reed said. I mean, that's taking them completely into a different place. It's offering them opportunities they never thought they'd have, and I think there's real excitement about that. That is really cool. The Squamish, Musqueam, Lawat, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations are also partnering with Vancouver and Whistler to host the games. The Invictus Games will see more than 500 competitors from more than 20 countries compete. Before we continue, this was spelled incorrectly, and it's important to get these kinds of things right. Tourism, Arts, Culture, and Sport Minister Lena Popham said the province will be ready when they arrive. Quote, it was a real success, she said of the delegation's visit. They are, of course, very impressed with everything we have to offer in BC. And now, as we approach the 1 year out, we're going to see a lot more excitement, and we're going to get into our places, and we're going to be ready. The Duke and Duchess are no strangers to BC, famously making an extended stay on Vancouver Island in 2019, and Popham said it is clear they love British Columbia. Harry's puck drop also echoed another previous royal visit, this one by his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, who also dropped the puck at a Vancouver San Jose game 21 years ago while touring Canada for her Golden Jubilee. The Invictus Games run from February 8th to February 16th, 2025, and you can find out more about the games and how to participate on the Invictus Games website, which is linked in the description box below. I just wanted to take a super short break to say, if you have not already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you are interested, feel free to participate in the live chat going on now, or feel free to leave a comment if you do not wish to engage in the live chat. Once again, I know I do this all the time. I'm enjoying a channel, I'm enjoying the video, I'm just having a great time, and I completely forget to hit subscribe. So please don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to comment if you wish, and please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button so that the algorithm on YouTube knows that you like my content. Now, let's get back to the show. Have you ever heard of Kristen Burt? Well, if you're a member of this channel, then you heard of her yesterday when I read one of her articles regarding Will and Kate's alleged separation. She made a few statements about Kate's popularity that I thought was peculiar, and of course I had to read her for it, but the rest of the article was okay. Well, she struck gold with this next article that I'm going to read you today, and like I said, a broken clock is right twice a day, so we're going to give Kristen Burt one more chance. The title of this article is Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's new PR strategy defies the British tabloids' narrative, and they don't like it. This is linked in the description box below if you would like to read it or amplify it yourself. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are clearly setting the stage for what their next chapter is going to look like. Just days after the Duchess of Sussex's unexpected appearance on the red carpet at the Variety Power of Women event, the dynamic duo turned up in Vancouver, Canada to promote the Invictus Games, which will be taking place in 2025. What makes their surprise appearances so noteworthy is that the British tabloids had no clue that the Sussexes would be showing up for a major promotional event. It diminishes the theory created by their critics that Harry and Meghan are desperate for any type of publicity. If they were that thirsty for attention, the couple would have notified every global outlet ahead of time. Instead, they popped in, catching many people off guard while visiting the sports venues for the Invictus Games and enjoying a Vancouver Canucks San Jose Sharks hockey game that evening. Harry and Meghan are living their best lives on their terms. So far, so good, Kristen. You're doing great. Meghan teased some of their upcoming projects, but she didn't reveal too much. Quote, "But we have so many exciting things on the slate, I can't wait until we can announce them, but I'm just really proud of what we're creating," she added. "My husband is loving it too. It's really fun." They are discovering that the more secretive they keep their projects, the more effective their publicity is. The media becomes more focused on the work they are doing versus the royal family feud, and this is actually accurate. Many people forget that none of the things that have come out from Harry and Meghan have actually amplified the royal family feud. They spoke their piece, they put an end to it, they gave me all the information I'll ever need regarding that feud and that relationship, and any further advancements between them and that relationship with that family will have to come from them for me. The only people keeping up the royal family feud is the royal family and their leaks. At this point, just get a megaphone, is the royal family and the people surrounding them and the media. Harry and Meghan actually don't speak on them or that feud at all. And I mean at all. And that's the way to do it. So fans should expect the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to pop up in surprising places over the next year. They don't feel the need to draw attention to themselves when they are trying to keep the focus on their core projects. After years of negative headlines from the UK media, this might be their best strategy yet. Here's the thing though, that's always been their strategy. The only thing that I'm noticing is that people are catching up to truly understanding who Harry and Meghan are as people and who they are as a couple. They've never really been, "Oh wow, look at me, all about me." That's never really been their thing. They've always gone, participated, used their spotlight to amplify what's important in the world and what they value, and then they hit the road. They're not all about themselves. In most cases, you see them reluctantly take the mic. I've noticed that about them. If they're asked to speak, especially on the spot, or if they're asked to speak in a moment where it's about someone else, they will say what they have to say and then they'll hand it off. They are not about hogging or taking up the spotlight. One of the things that I really appreciate about them is that they consistently amplify important causes, foundations, and organizations. They keep the spotlight on their core beliefs and on their core projects. It's the people that are obsessed with them in a negative way that actually try and distort anything they say or do. And that's not really something they can control, nor do they even bother to engage with it, which is the best strategy possible. I don't know if you remember years ago when Beyonce released Formation. And in the video, she sank a cop car in New Orleans while she danced on top of it. And people were saying boycott Beyonce. And it was like a whole thing. Do y'all remember what she did? She didn't argue with them. She didn't go on CNN to debate. She didn't do any of that. She made boycott Beyonce t-shirts. And so do you know those fools who hated Beyonce bought the boycott Beyonce shirts? I, I, you know, that was the day I realized, oh, haters are dumb. They're like really dumb. And that's because their goal isn't about a value. They're not mad at anybody that actually has the courage to speak up and talk about the real issues in the world. They're not mad at them because they oppose their view. They would like you to think that, but they're contrarians. They're going to oppose whatever the person who is getting a lot of spotlight and who is loved and beloved by so many, they're going to oppose whatever they say. They could come out and say, we need clean drinking water. And there will be 45 think pieces from haters about why clean drinking water is actually not great because it doesn't help you build up your immune system. Trust me, I have actually heard people make an anti-argument about clean drinking water. And that's when I realized haters are dumb. They don't care what the issue is at hand. They don't care about what is actually being conversed about in the conversation. They only care about being and becoming the opposition. And that's because throughout life, they've been taught if you go against the grain, it means you're an intellectual. And that, baby, is not what it means. No. And so you can usually tell a person who doesn't actually have a point of view by what they speak on and what they choose to oppose. And you will find that most of the people who are out here in your comments, that are emailing you, that are making comments about you in your tweets and your Instagram, if they had something better to do, they would be out doing that. Instead, they're out here making counter arguments about clean drinking water and clean air. They're making counter arguments about having safe schools for kids. They're making counter arguments about we don't need to reduce guns. It's the gun violence that we need to reduce. And it's like, do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself? These are the people that will literally oppose more programs for social justice. These are people that will oppose actually improving our education system. These are the people that will oppose anything. You could tell this person, it's great to have clean air, and they'll look at you like you're crazy. Well, I prefer carbon monoxide myself. Like, okay, you know what? Do that. You do that. You leave all this oxygen to me, boo, and you take in all that carbon monoxide, and you will not be a thorn in my side much longer. So yes, Kristen Burt, you are absolutely right. Harry and Meghan focus on the issues and their core projects, while the rest of the world focuses on them. And some, in a very small portion of that group of people who focus on them, are intending to focus on them with a negative light. But y'all know how we roll here. I've said it before. They're going to find something wrong with whatever you say. You can say Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, give the titles back. You can say Princess Meghan. Mind you, that is part of her official title, Princess Henry. So you could say Princess Meghan or refer to Meghan as a princess in any way. And she's not a princess. You could say, it's great to see this happy couple. They're not happy. It's great to see this family of four. Those kids aren't theirs. You'll hear it all day, every day. That's why I just ignore it. Y'all want to know something I found so funny the other day? And this is where I can tell I'm growing, because I used to get in the comments and argue. But the other day, I have a short that is, it's just got a quote on there. I think it's like W.C. Cameron. I can't remember who wrote the quote, but I just found this really cute quote about dogs, and I thought it was adorable. And so I put the quote on a video about Harry and Meghan, and they were rubbing these dogs. It's a really cute video. It's adorable. And someone got in the comment section and said, where are all the negative comments? I said, damn, sorry to bust your bubble. Sorry, you late to the party, baby. I've already deleted those. Now, I'm not going to catch all of them because that's how comments work. There's just so many that come in. But when I see a negative comment, I delete it because I don't want that on my page. It takes me a long time, but I delete as many as I can find. I delete them. And that's just how I roll. I am not about to be a harbor for negative commentary. I'm not going to catch them all, which is why I really appreciate my moderators for all of the hard work they do. They'll immediately flag a comment and get it removed from my page, and then I can go in there and delete it permanently. And I really appreciate it because it helps a lot. But I'm not about to sit here and willingly allow a hotbed of negative commentary to just sit on my page. That doesn't make sense to me. All engagement is not good engagement. Y'all have heard me say this 1,000,001 times. If it takes me 3 times as long to get to my goal, but to do so with integrity, baby, sign me up. I am not going to allow anything that represents me to harbor hate for anyone, but especially people that I admire and enjoy promoting. And so that comment tickled me. How you gonna show up to the function talking about where the negativity at? Put me over there. And when they were like, where's all the negative comments? I was like, they're deleted, like you're about to be. And I just went ahead and delete and block those people and keep it pushing. You do not need the engagement that bad to keep negative comments up if you see them. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. Thank you, Kristen Burt, for having a very clear, concise, honest article about Harry and Meghan. I had been given pause because of the Will and Kate article, but not everybody gets it right 100% of the time. So I guess Kristen Burt is back in my good graces. I'll be checking out a few more of her articles. I'll let you know. So finally, Forbes has weighed in on the final season of The Crown, and a season has to be bad for Forbes to weigh in. So let's get started with this article by Cecilia Rodriguez titled, "What is the problem with Season 6 of Netflix's The Crown?" Is there a problem with the first part of the 6th and final season of The Crown, the fictionalized Netflix drama inspired by the lives of the British royal family? As reviewed by the British media, there are many indeed. The show seems to be nothing less than a disaster, as a recent headline in The Guardian huffs. Royally lost the plot, how the crown went from prestige drama to TV disaster. Among other epithets, the paper describes it as a trashy, soapy, unwittingly comical, bordering on the exploitative. One of the paper's reviewers, Lucy Mangan, found it so excruciating to watch that she felt like she was having an out of body experience. Damn, I don't know that I felt that strongly, but let's continue. A disappointing new low. Other critics have called it clumsy and crass, ill-judged and outrageous, pointless and sad, a disappointing new low, and a very pretty bore. The Guardian concludes its verdict. Let's call them mixed reviews, shall we? Oh, goodness. The BBC is equally critical, dismissing it in a headline as a clumsy, predictable end to the royal family drama. Pause there. It is, although it's fiction, it is loosely based on real life events. So a predictable end to the royal family drama it's pretty safe bet that we could all predict what was going to happen because we were there. And for those of us who weren't there, all of this is documented in news coverage and newspapers and TV shows. Like, this is a known story because it's already been lived. Your take on it is where it becomes fiction because you use your creative license, but the story itself has already been told. I'm mad they said predictable. They're just being ridiculous. The article complains that the show, once a joy, has failed to right the terrible flaws of the last season. For the broadcaster, the problems start with the very first scene of a man walking his dog in Paris near the Eiffel Tower. We know what's coming. A black car speeds into a tunnel, followed by more cars and motorcycles, and the sound of a deadly crash. For the critic, that scene with a trajectory so familiar points to what's weakest about this new season. Instead of writing the near disaster of last season, it leans into its flaws, including the miscasting of the earthy Dominic West as Prince Charles and the endless, unenlightening reconstructions of the real images and videos that have become a part of the culture, recognizable around the world, even to viewers too young to remember the 1990s or Diana's death firsthand. Another major debilitating factor for the media has come with the appearances several times of Princess Diana's ghost. After her death, Princess Diana is seen returning to Prince Charles and Queen Elizabeth II as a ghost, which has infuriated some viewers, writes The Mirror in an article entitled Netflix The Crown Slammed as Princess Diana's Ghost Makes an Appearance in Bizarre Scenes. With the headline, The Crown Season 6 Review, the show reaches a creative dead end with Diana's ghostly return. The Telegraph finds the first 4 episodes intrusive and clumsy. The criticism emphasizes that the Netflix jewel hits a dead end, as the new season is haunted by Princess Diana's bizarre ghost, appearing to comfort the then Prince of Wales, now king, and to give advice to the late Queen Elizabeth. By the way, Dodi Al-Fayed's ghost also makes an appearance to comfort his grieving father. The first 3 episodes of the season deal mainly with the last 2 months before the death of Princess Diana, played by Elizabeth Debicki, in a car crash in Paris, along with her boyfriend, the Egyptian film producer Dodi Al-Fayed, played by Khalid Abdallah, and their driver. The 4th episode focuses on the crash and the funeral, and all are recreated with, as The Guardian complains, a truly punishing level of detail. I mean, that's pretty accurate, though. While the first 4 episodes are already streaming on Netflix, the final 6 episodes will be released on December 14th. As Netflix has announced, the second part of the season will get into happier times in the lives of the royal family with events like the Queen's Golden Jubilee, Prince Charles and Camilla's wedding, and the university romance of Prince William and Kate Middleton. In the final 6 episodes, we'll see Queen Elizabeth II, played by Imelda Staunton, reflect on her reign and look ahead to a time when her successors will take the throne, Netflix said in a press release. Divorced from Prince Charles, the princess has moved away from the royal family, as involved in a number of charities, and has become an iconic international figure beset by press and public attention. Charles, for his part, is scrambling to bolster his and Camilla's public image, using royal spin doctor Mark Bolland to make him a broadsheet prince in contrast to Diana's tabloid princess, the New York Times writes. But the first part of the season really belongs to Diana and Dodi and their budding summer romance orchestrated by his father, Mohammed Al-Fayed. With all the opulence, the relationship is destined to end in tragedy amid the endless cycle of harassment from the paparazzi that follow her everywhere. including to Al Fayed's private yacht, the Jonicle, where she's trying to escape for a private vacation and her new idol. With the horde of paparazzi boats surrounding the Jonicle off the coast of Saint-Tropez and Portofino, Diana, as played by Debicki, is at the top of her more mature beauty and glamour. As described by Mashable, she shines in her brightly hued, flawless 90s wardrobe of neon swimsuits and oversized Adidas tees on the sparkling seas. The photo in the poster to promote the final season is emblematic of what ails the new season. Only a week before Diana's untimely death in Paris, paparazzi captured her sitting on the diving board of the yacht. What was intended to be a private vacation, explains British Vogue, quickly turned into a media circus after the British tabloids published photos of her kissing Dodi on board. Bids for those photos went up to £500,000. Although Diana always had a de facto bounty on her head, it was now at an eye-watering and dangerous sum, especially as rumors that the princess was pregnant or engaged began to swirl. As a result, more paparazzi swarmed her entire trip, desperate to capture the princess and her new love interest. Far from shore, seating on that board, she seems, I think that's supposed to be seated on that board. Yeah, oh well, let's keep it going. Seated on that board, she seems isolated, when the reality was that she was never alone. The prying eyes of the paparazzi lenses and the public's fascination were always on her. Until now, the historical drama has portrayed events and people long gone. Many of the protagonists were already dead and their circumstances history. But as the series progressed, viewers came closer and closer to real events happening in the present time. Quote, "The Crown has steadily caught up with modern times, and this has become a mounting problem," argues The Guardian. Suddenly, most of its characters are alive, vocal, and consulting their lawyers. Viewers now have vivid memories and their own takes. The closer the Crown creeps to the present, the more historical distance is lost and the more contentious it becomes. Despite the 6 seasons events happening 26 years ago, they still feel resonant in the present. Diana is still a very remembered and popular figure. Quote, "The death of Diana, the tragedy of Diana, has been so well documented in so many different forms. It's part of our mythology, and it's part of that story," Netflix producer of the series, Stephen Daldry, said. And that seems to be the root of the problem, what Mashable calls the uncomfortable truth hiding within these episodes. This season of The Crown puts the audience in the place of the chasing paparazzi, then goes even further, inside the yacht, inside the rooms, inside the car in Paris. Quote, "It feels like we've become the villains, elbowing our way into the final moments of a couple who tried desperately to escape such brutal attention. For 6 seasons, we've happily been these voyeurs, keen for a glimpse inside Princess Margaret's doomed relationship, the early courtship of the Queen and Prince Philip, and the awkward mechanics of the Charles and Camilla's affair. But in this final season, the need to be in the room where it happened suddenly feels wrong." Thank you, Cecilia Rodriguez, for writing such an amazing article. And I absolutely agree. That is definitely at the root of the issue. However, I think the root of the issue is that Peter Morgan, the creator, is a very clear and staunch royalist. Despite what he calls himself, he is a royalist and he is trying very hard to stay in the good graces of the royal family. And this last season is making that more evident than ever. He threw Diana under the bus. He has been very open about throwing Prince Harry under the bus. In some situations, and it goes against documented history of things that Harry said, but he gave those words to Prince William so that Prince William could say them in the show, and people had a really big problem with that. There was a phone call with Princess Diana between her boys, and there were things that Prince Harry said in real life to his mom that they actually gave Prince William to say in the show, and people had a lot of issues with that. I, for one, had a lot of issues with that because what was the reason? I feel like the reason was to make us more endeared to William and to somewhat ignore Prince Harry, who was clearly an afterthought in this show. And Peter Morgan even went on to brag about not referencing Spare when writing this book, when writing the show and writing this final season. And even when I thought, well, it's likely that the season was already written before Spare came out, he came out to make sure that we knew, oh no, we were still writing when we read Spare. I'm just not interested in reading Spare. I'm not interested. I don't want to reference Prince Harry. And it was like, okay, nobody asked you to. Why so defensive? But I mean, in retrospect, in history's terms, when we look back, no one's going to give a shit about the Crown. They're all going to reference Spare. So it's not like you're really slighting Harry with that. I mean, at the end of the day, it would have been better for you to have an actual royal source as part of the writing on your show. And it's clear why that was a mistake, to be so in your bag to try and make friends with the royal family or to stay in their good graces rather than focus on making the best show possible. You got into the royal beef, you leaned into the headlines, you clearly picked a side, and your show tanked because of it. That's on you. You can blame the writers all you want, but the writers can only write what the creator allows. So anyway, this just further proves my point that The Crown Season 6 Part 1 sucked, and I'm not going to watch Part 2. I am going to watch the last episode just to see how they ended off, but I am not going to watch Part 2 as a whole. Not interested. Sorry. It's been a while, but it is time for a community conversation. This is the segment where I listen to texts or I listen to voicemails, and I use AI to turn text into audio so that we can answer some of your questions and respond to some of your comments.
Hi, Miss Sharion. This is Berta Sanchez. I just wanted to call to congratulate you on the wonderful news that you received. You deserve all good things in life. And I'm sorry that I have missed a couple of the podcasts for moderating. I have been dealing with a migraine headache that took me 2 days to get rid of. But I just wanted to say we love you. Thank you for all the hard work that you do. And you deserve this honor. And sending a shout out to the Sussex Squad family. I love you all. And I am praying for you all every day. And of course, our Duke and Duchess Meghan and Harry. You all have a blessed rest of the year. And I hope to see you live in the chat. Bye-bye.
Hi, Queen Berta Sanchez. Thank you so much for calling in, and thank you so much for your very sweet well wishes to not only me, but to everybody. I really appreciate you, and I'm so sorry to hear about your migraine. I hope that you get to feeling better soon. If everybody can, if it aligns with your belief system, please put your hands together and say a very, very, very strong prayer for Queen Berta Sanchez. I really hope you feel better, and I really appreciate you watching the channel. The fact that you even choose to moderate, it is such an honor, and trust me, just you showing up to one is a big honor to me. So thank you so much. I really appreciate any time that you spend on the channel, but I really hope that you feel better, and if there's anything we can ever do, please let us know. Thank you again.
I don't listen to negative comments about Meghan and Harry. However, I see negative comments when I look at positive YouTube channels that are refuting negative comments. I have heard comments that Harry and Meghan should move on to the future and stop living and whining about the past. Harry and Meghan have moved on to future things. In my opinion, the tabloids and the derangers are the ones that keep whining about the past. When I see Harry and Meghan on YouTube, they are not discussing the RF, past or present. Also, I would like to comment on William's continuous frown on his face. He looks very unhappy, but very few people comment on it. However, when Harry is not smiling, something negative is always said. For example, at Beyoncé's concert, when Harry was looking out at the crowd without smiling, the tabloids spread rumors that he was sad. People do not have to smile all the time to show happiness. In fact, there is a song that says smiling faces tell lies. So, just because a person smiles does not mean that they are happy. Harry could have been in awe of the size of the crowd, or he could have been looking to see if he could see a familiar face. People do not have to smile all the time.
It is alleged that William is very angry about how Omid said that he treated Harry leading up to the Queen's death and after her death. It is alleged that Harry texted William at least twice to write to see his grandmother before she died, but received no answer. As a result, by the time Harry arrived, his grandmother was dead. It is alleged that William is fuming angry because he said this did not happen. All I can say about this is that Harry has receipts, and William had better tell the truth. It is alleged that Omid gave this exclusive to People magazine in the US. This was very smart on Omid's part because People magazine is read all over the world, and everybody all over the world will know the evilness of how Harry was treated before and after his grandmother died. Several people are shocked at how badly Harry was treated. Harry mentioned this account in his book, Spare, but evidently many people did not read it since so many are shocked about this happening.
Hello Sharion, I live in Miami, Florida. I have been listening to your blog for a while and enjoy all your content about Meghan and Harry. I wanted to attend the Invictus Game when you said you were attending. I am a Black Army veteran and I am so proud of what you are doing for me and my veteran comrades. I will like to be a part of your team and what you are doing for us.
Thank you to everyone who left a voicemail, who sent a text, who called in to give your feedback. I really appreciate you participating in the channel. Thank you so much for watching the channel, and I really appreciate you giving me your feedback. Don't forget, you can call anytime and leave a voicemail, and they will be featured on Wednesday's podcast. You can call the number 305-699-5548. Again, that number is 305-699-5548. And I will omit your name unless you want me to leave it in, or if you want to address other squatties and say well wishes, then I'll leave your name in so that they'll know who's doing that. But if you have messages for me personally and you don't want me to air them, feel free to just say, hey, don't air this. And I'm happy to not to, but call in anytime, leave your voicemail about anything we've discussed or anything Harry and Meghan related, and we will talk about it on the podcast. Now, the last caller, you gave me a great idea. Thank you so much for calling in, and thank you so much for your very kind words. I do my best, and I'm happy that in some way that I can be a positive effect on you, especially as a Black veteran here in America. I know how y'all have it, and I'm so glad to be helping in some way. I hope, everything that we do here on this channel and everything that everyone does continues to help Black veterans and veterans at large have a much better life. But you gave me a great idea. I will be doing a live stream fundraiser in partnership with Fisher House Foundation, which we talked about. I am a Fisher House groundbreaker, and I will be doing my first fundraiser soon. And when you said you wanted to be involved, I thought, what a cool idea. So I'm definitely going to credit you. But when you said you wanted to be involved, I thought it would be great to have more people involved. And so I love to do segments in my live streams. It helps to break up the monotony so that I'm not just a talking head rambling on and on and on. It also gives us things to talk about and drive conversation, and we just get a lot of good convo out of that. So I thought it would be fun to feature segments from the veterans who watch this channel, all veterans who watch this channel. You don't have to be from America. If you are a veteran and you watch this channel, if you are in service, if you watch this channel, please feel free to message me or call me. You can call me at 305-699-5548, or you can email me at hellosharion@gmail.com. I check that email every day, multiple times a day. Feel free to email me or call me and let me know if you would like to participate in the segment. So here's what I'm thinking. I would love to be able to feature stories from the veterans who watch this channel in that fundraiser live stream. The fundraiser live stream will feature conversations surrounding veterans, servicemen, service personnel, service women, everyone around the world, not just here in America. However, we will also be digging into a lot of the things that Prince Harry said about serving in the military in his book Spare. We'll also be taking a look at a lot of really great footage and a lot of archive footage about Prince Harry's time in the military and other royal family members' time in the military. And I have a few other things that I'm going to be showing that I'm not going to talk about because I want it to be a very fun surprise. But part of that live stream, it would be really great if the people who actually watch this channel could participate. So if you are a veteran, if you have parents who are veterans or service people, or if you have grandparents and you want to share a story, your experience, anything like that, if you've worked directly with Fisher House or utilized any of their amazing services, then feel free to let me know that. But reach out to me at hellosharion@gmail.com or call me at 305-699-5548. And I will send you all the information you need to record yourself telling that story. And I will include it in the segment and I will credit you. And if you have anything that you want me to talk about during your segment or right after your segment, we can get into that as well. So I thought that would be fun to have as many people who watch the channel get a chance to be part of it as well. All you would have to do is record yourself or send in an audio and, I'll put the visual up. So we'll work it out to make sure your segment looks exactly how you want it. So feel free to reach out if you want to be part of that. Thank you so much for that suggestion, Winnie. And I cannot wait to see how that turns out. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you are gearing up for a very fun day tomorrow of good eats and good family time. I won't disturb you, but I will be posting a very fun Thanksgiving related video, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but it will be fun. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video by hitting the thumbs up button. If you feel so inclined, please share. Our growth in the last 2 weeks has been insane. I can't say thank you enough times. I feel like I'm going to say thank you and wear it out. They're going to take it out the English language because they're going to be like, girl, you overusing it. You got to say something else. So I'm just going to start saying gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. I cannot say enough. Thank you so much for all the growth. So feel free to share, comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.